All right, we're back. Now, before I work into the shadows and things like that, we're focusing on the main idea of what you want to practice in this assignment, besides making a creative, interesting, or mysterious, or funny, or some sort of interesting image in using your imagination. We're working on the selection tools. So far, I showed you about the marquee tools, and I introduced you to the lasso tool and the magnetic lasso tool. There's another lasso tool called the polygonal lasso tool. So I'm going to choose that. This works a little differently than the other ones. This works very well with very straight lines. So it wouldn't work well on these organic shapes like the snow, the figure. Most of the things here are very organic shaped. However, if I was going to do something like outline for some reason, this house is very straight contours here. So if all you do, instead of clicking and dragging like the other lasso tools, I'm only going to click once on a corner. Click, and when I let go, now it's like Spider-Man. He's got his web attached to Spider-Man. He can swing all over. Woo! So I'm going to go to the next place where the line changes. I can keep it very straight. And then it stops here. So I'm going to click and then go up to this little corner and click. Now I can go to the next corner. So I'm only clicking once I get to a corner where I have to make a turn. So I'm just going almost like connect the dots. It's a lot, very similar to what it's like. Connect the dots. We have to figure out where the dots are. The dots are the corners, and the angle changes. So I'm not going to select the whole house, but I'll show you how quickly you can select these very geometrically straight-edged shapes. Now that house is almost perfectly selected very, very quickly. Straight edges are fun and easy to select. When you get back to the beginning, you just click all the way back to where you started, or you just hit enter. Now, the same rule applies. If I hold down shift and click, 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 now I have added a shape. Or if I want to remove that, I'll hold down alt, click, 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 click. I'll click around it. And if I let go, it's still doing this, so I have to hit enter. It'll subtract from the selection. So I'm going to whoops. Easy to accidentally stick that. All right, so I deselected everything. To demonstrate using this in our actual project, I'm going to look for our moo cow here. And I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to use this tool to select the polygonal tool, marquee, or lasso, sorry, not marquee. And I'm just going to click on each section. And this will be much quicker than the Metroid figure. You still want to be extremely careful. And zoom in and check your work. But it is a lot easier. Now you'll see there's little bevels. These corners aren't razor sharp. There's a slight angle bevel on each side. So you want to be careful of things like that when you are selecting. Now on this plastic, you can see reflections of my skin on the plastic. In this case, we might not have to worry about that too much in the image, but we might have to do something about that. So I'm going to go around and select the rest of this image. We're almost done already. So easy when you have something with all straight lines. It doesn't happen a lot. Ooh, there's a curve there. So I'm going to go back. I made that a straight line, but I can always go back and fix that. We might not need to. All right, so once we have our selection, we go up to edit and copy, or Control C. Go to our main image, and go to Edit, Paste, or Control V, and it makes a new layer. Here's our Minecraft cow. Now I think I want the Minecraft cow to be over here. And then in my original one, Link was right here. Maybe I'll put him a little further to the right. We could have the cow come, oh yeah, maybe we'll have the cow coming off into the scene a little bit. And you can see the sun's coming from this direction. Everything is right. Now it doesn't look quite right because there's no shadows or anything, but we can get things about where we want them. And you can see this isn't a perfect straight line because maybe my skin was pushing up a little there. So there's a few ways we can handle that. I think I'm going to cheat, which is perfectly fine to do in art sometimes. So I'm going to select above it, make a new edge, and just delete. Make that the bottom. There. So now this is already in the scene. Maybe Samus is hungry, needs some steaks. She's gonna blast this poor little Minecraft cow for her dinner tonight. Hopefully not. Maybe it's her pet that got loose. I don't know. We can imagine what happens later. We're working on selection. Why did I just type in moon? I cannot talk and type at the same time. I'll call it moo cow. All right, so we got a moo cow layer, and if we can turn the visibility on and off, we have Samus. There we go. So far we've covered all of the lasso tools. That's a lot to do. We've covered the marquee tools. Here's one I'm not going to use too much, but it's another good one, the magic wand tool. I'm going to click on an area that's pretty similar, like this blue sky, and it picks a little bit of it. I'm going to go up here to tolerance and make it about 30 or 32, whatever. I don't know. And I'm going to click, and it's going to select similar areas of color. And if I hold down Shift, you can add to it. That's another way to select things, by color. This isn't a very good image for that. I don't really want to do anything with the sidewalks, and it's not selecting them very nicely. But this magic wand tool is another way to do it, along with this, these are all very similar tools. Quick selection, magic wand. But that's another selection tool. You can experiment with that. If you take a picture of an object and you put a blank piece of paper or something behind it, if you use the magic wand tool, you could select the background, go up to select and instead of selecting the background, inverse it to select the object. That's another way to select things. The last selection tool I'm going to show you is way down here at the bottom of the tool, or almost the bottom of the toolbar. This is the foreground color, the background color. And below that, if I hover over it, you'll see this rectangle with a dotted circle. That is a quick mask selection tool. So let's do that. I'll show you a little bit how that works. Let's do one more. Let's do something simple. How about, no, I want the Pokemon. Where's my Pokemon? Where's my Pokemon? I sound like a kid. All right, let me look over here. If you can't find one of your open files in the tab, click on this double arrow, and you can see things you might not have room for to display. There it is. All right. For this video, we'll do one more selection using this quick mask. We use the layer mask on our layer panel. We're going to use this right here. And what you do is you paint a selection. So I'm going to click the brush tool. I'm not going to paint yet because that's going to mess up the image. I'm going to click the quick mask. Now it should make the foreground color black. And if you have your brush selected, you can, zoom in, and anywhere you paint is going to look transparent pinkish red. That's supposed to seem like this stuff called masking fluid. Now what you're going to do, anything you select or paint is not going to be selected. Now to make this really easy, instead I am going to paint what I want selected. I'm going to paint in all my Pokemon. I might make my brush a little bigger. If it's blurry, you won't want that. If the hardness of your brush, which is up here, if you're on your brush, these are your options. Remember that from the first assignment? This is your option bar. Click here, and you can change the hardness of your brush. You want it to be 100 in this case. And I'm going to color in and just not go right to the edge. We'll color in my whole little Pokemon. I don't know what Pokemon this is. I'm no expert. I just like to sing the Pokemon Black and White theme song as loud as I can. Let's see. All right, so here, it's another way, if you like brushing, if you like digital brushing, this might be a nice way for you to do things sometimes. You can paint in your selection. If you accidentally go out of your selection, you just go to your colors and hit this arrow. Now the white is in the foreground. Now if I paint, it's going to erase the masking fluid. So if you go outside the lines, you can paint it back out with white, switch it back to black, and fill it in. So I'm going to do this quickly. It's kind of hard to do this quickly because it comes out messy. But there's a time where each of these tools is the right tool to use. I don't know if this is the right time to use this tool, but I do want to show you it. There we go. And if it's pink, it doesn't mean you're really painting it pink. Can't tell what's Pokemon, what's my hand. All right, here we go. You can tell I'm switching which side of my brain I'm using, because when I go to color and draw, I suddenly don't know how to talk anymore, and I just go quiet. Or I talk a lot and start making a lot of mistakes. Let's see. All right, whoops, I went out of the lines there a little bit. Another way to switch back and forth is to hit the letter X. That switches your foreground and background colors. The letter D goes to default, which is black and white. X switches them. I'm hitting X a lot. You can see the color switching. Yeah, this isn't a bad tool for this. I'm just not that patient sometimes. But you have to be patient. You have to practice if you want to do this kind of stuff. You have to remember what the finished product's going to look like. And if you do it like a fast, crazy, slobby monkey, I don't know why a monkey would be on Photoshop, but I don't know. You have to be one dedicated monkey if it's going to do a good job using quick masks. All right, here we go. And I love that it's semi-transparent because you can see what you're doing still. There's one more step after this, because like I said, if you're painting something red, whatever is red is going to be what's not selected. So there's a few ways to do it. You could paint the whole thing red, and then whatever you want to paint with white. But that actually, in my opinion, makes it harder to see what you are doing and harder to notice mistakes. So what I usually do, if I use this, I do use it sometimes. I don't use it a lot. I'm usually under a deadline, unless I'm just doing something for fun. I'm usually under a deadline, and I'm not patient enough to do this, especially with a mouse. This is pretty brutal with a mouse. If you have like a tablet with a stylus, like a Wacom tablet or something, that's a different story. Then it'd be much more intuitive. But to try to do this with a mouse is really annoying and tricky. You can get good at it after a while. If you're used to using a mouse and doing stuff like this all day, you do get good at it. When I was in college, I was pretty fast at this because I had to do it so much. And they didn't really have a lot of tablet software available when I was in college. Or if they did, it was insanely expensive. But now that I don't do it that much, I'm back to being kind of messy and slow. And that's how you'll feel at first. You'll be a little probably frustrated doing this kind of thing. All right, so now that's all fixed. What I'm going to do is go to Image, Adjustments, Invert. Now what was red is now white, or plain, and whatever's plain is now red. If you click on underneath these two colors, the quick mask again, you have a perfect selection of whatever you painted. Once I have that selected, I go up to the menu Edit, Copy, go back to my main picture, Edit, Paste. I think I'm going to put this Pokemon, whoops, I'll use the Move tool, move it over here. I think I'm going to put it in the driveway of my neighbor's house. And just going to be watching. That makes this Pokemon huge. Yes, yes. And you know what? Later, I'll show you how you can fine tune you can adjust it to be however you want it to be. But for now, I just wanted to show you the quick mask and all these selection tools. In the next video, I might have added a few more figures, and then we'll start working on some layers and adjustment layers and some free transform tool, which will finish up the project. Okay, let me aim this Pokemon. Put a file save. It's good to save often in case something crashes. You don't have to start all over again. Don't wait till the end to save. Whenever you think of it, save. All right. Hope you're enjoying this.